couple of days ago, I reached a position as black, in which you can see it is a brilliant position in which my queen is just 2 squares away from the king. My knights are lined up on the king like this. My bishop is ready to join the fight. And once I move this f pawn up, and once it gets traded, my rooks are ready to join the fight like this. So it's a brilliant position. On the other hand, if you look at my opponent, what is that queen doing there? The king is in danger. The rook is just blocked by its own pieces, it's not helping the king. And this bishop, it's the only active piece white has. It's attacking the knight, but that doesn't do any harm. This bishop, it's a bad bishop, it's blocked by its own pawns, and this rook is just over there doing nothing. So how did I achieve this brilliant position? Well, I achieved this position by following 8 basic principles. And in today's video, I'm going to tell you what those basic principles are. And I'm going to tell you that even if you don't know an opening, but you can follow these basic principles and still get into an incredible position like this. So let's begin. So this is the game. It was a 15 plus 10 rapid game. So let me clear a thing. This is not a perfect game. I made mistakes, I made inaccuracies. But the thing is, when you're playing at your own level, your opponent will also make mistakes and inaccuracies. But if you know these basic principles, you're going to have an upper hand and you're going to win the games. So, opponent starts d4. I respond with d5. So right now, here comes the first principle. First principle is to attack the center. By center, I mean these 4 squares. So the best way to attack the center is to put a pawn in the center, and which me and my opponent did. After this, the opponent plays c3. Now, I didn't know what opening was this, so I said, okay, let's just play on principles. I developed my knight. Okay, here comes the second principle. Develop your minor pieces. By minor pieces, I mean knights and bishops. And by development, I mean getting them off the back rank and into the game. Like this, and we move the pawn up and then get this bishop out. So this is called development. Okay, you have to quickly develop your minor pieces. In its response, my opponent plays e3. So now my opponent is violating a principle. Okay, here comes the principle number 3. Avoid too many pawn moves in the opening. Okay, opponent is just throwing in pawns, but I played knight to f6. Now I am following the principle that you have to avoid too many pawn moves in the opening and you should develop your pieces. So why should you avoid pawn moves? Well, number 1 is that you're not developing your pieces, you're just throwing in pawns. Whereas principle number 2 says that you should develop your pieces. And the second reason behind that is that when you move pawns, you're blocking your minor pieces. For example, now white played this pawn move, and now this pawn is blocking its bishop. And this pawn isn't allowing knight to come to this square. So this is why you should avoid too many pawn moves in the opening. Okay? Game goes on. Now, here comes another principle, okay? So there are a lot of principles in the opening, then as we go on, the principles will be reduced, okay? Fourth principle says that you should develop your knights before your bishops, okay? Opponent is just developing his bishop, while I developed my knights before my bishops, okay? So the reason behind this is that when you have a knight on the back rank, let's suppose it's this knight, okay? This knight. So it has generally 2 squares to go to. It can either go here or here. So this is less common. More common one is knight here. Okay. So you know that your knight has to go there. Both of your knight, in almost all the cases, have to go there to these 2 squares. Or if you're playing as white, to these 2 squares. These 2 squares. So your bishop can either go to this square, this square, this square, this square. I'm talking about the light square bishop. So once you develop the knight, your other knight, then you tend to know about the position. And when you know about the position, you can make a decision whether to put your knight here, 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 or here. Okay, so you should develop your knights before your bishops. Okay, let's continue. I develop my bishop now. Yeah, once you develop your knights, you can develop your bishops, and the opponent plays. Now he develops his knight. Okay, and now I play pawn to a6. Okay, so you should say that you just said that you shouldn't play too many pawn moves in the opening, but this pawn move is a forced move. A forced move is a move that you're threatening something and your opponent has to do something about it. Right now we're threatening to take the bishop, so the bishop has to move to this or to go back. So in its response, opponent clicked back. Then I played pawn to b5, still attacking the bishop, gaining a bit of tempo. What is tempo? We're going to discuss that in this video as we go on. Okay, so opponent moves back. Now I move here. So this move, it's an inaccuracy actually. Even I don't know why did I play this move when I was playing. I was like going for this, but I knew that he's going to play ahead, which my opponent did. Okay, so the reason for this move is when I go to a4, attacking the bishop has a safe spot here and it can remain on this diagonal. Well, I didn't go a4, I just pushed this pawn. Okay, I'm pushing this pawn to let out my bishop. Okay, on the next move, white just castles, and on the next move, I develop my bishop. Now, as you can see, I have 1, 2, 3, 4 of my pieces out. I've completed development, I just need to castle. And white, on the other hand, has 1, 2 pieces out. He still doesn't has this bishop and this knight out. Okay, he has castle, so we can consider that as a developing move. Okay, but I am ready to castle as well. Now, opponent plays queen to e2. Now, this is not a great move. Why? Because you're not developing. Okay, we're not developing. So the reason behind this move is you're attacking this pawn. Okay, so as response, I play rook to b8. Okay, and opponent plays knight out. Okay, he's developing the knight. And then I push this pawn forward. I was saying, okay, he takes me, I take him. If he takes me again, I take again. So it's just a trade. We're going to simplify the position. But the opponent was like, okay, let's play a bit tricky. He played rook to e1. Okay, the idea behind that is that when I take, he can take back and he's lined up on the king. I saw it coming. I realized, okay, let's gain some tempo. Here comes our fifth principle. That is to gain tempo. So I push this pawn forward. And tempo is like when you force a move, you're attacking one of the important pieces of your opponent, and your opponent has to defend. Like now I'm attacking the knight like this. The knight can either go here or here. Okay, it cannot go here because when I take it, he takes back with the pawn. I take it and I win a pawn. So my opponent went here. Okay, now I again gain tempo and play h6. Okay, I'm now again attacking the knight. Now if you look at this position, knight cannot go here, it cannot go here, it cannot go here, it cannot go here, it cannot go here. Only move is h3. He goes h3, but there's a drawback. I take with my bishop and he has to recapture with this pawn, which he does. Obviously, he has to recapture. He recaptures with this pawn, as now, as you can see, that his king is now bust open. I can now attack it all along. Okay, so here comes our next principle. Okay, you guys must know that when the opponent's king is exposed, you should attack the king. I know at this position that I should attack the king. Okay, but there's another principle which I thought I should share it with you, that you should attack in the direction of your center pawn chain. So what's a pawn chain? First of all, pawn chain is a group of pawns. It can be 2 or more than 2, which are supporting each other. Just like these 2 pawns. These 2 pawns are supporting each other, so it's a pawn chain. So the central pawn chain is which is close to the center, like this one. These two pawns, they make a pawn chain. Now, which way is it pointing? It's pointing to the king side. So I get a hint that I should be attacking the king side. I should just like bring in the bishop, the queen, the rook, each one of my piece towards the king side and attack the king and try to checkmate. Okay, it's just a principle. Even if you don't know this principle, if your opponent's king is bust open, you know that you should attack. Okay, so the game just goes on. I play queen to d7, attacking this pawn. Opponent plays queen to f1, defending it like this, okay? And now I play castles, okay? Let's get the king out of the center. Let's play safe, okay? Queen moves ahead. It's a bit passive, actually. I'm going to introduce another principle, principle number 7. Principle number 7 says that when you're attacking your opponent's king, bring in more pieces, okay? Now at this position, this knight is towards the king side. It can jump in to these squares when this pawn moves, obviously. My bishop is attacking the king side. My queen is sliding up on the king side. Which of my piece is not attacking, okay? I'm not talking about the rooks because rooks are difficult to be involved. Like I move the knight, then I push the pawn, and when he takes, I take back, okay? So there's one piece which is not involved, and this piece is this knight. Okay, so here I consider, okay, let's follow the principle. Let's get this knight into the game. I play this move. He plays knight to f1. Okay, it isn't a good move. It's very passive. I think it's my observation that he was trying to defend this, okay, with his queen and with his knight. That if I go with pawn up and then line up here, so he has to defend this. So I play knight to f5. Yeah, I'm bringing in the knight. So I'm trying to go here and attack the queen. So if I attack the queen, where can the queen go? It cannot go here. It cannot go here. It cannot go here because of the bishop. Sorry, the knight will be moved. It cannot go here because of this knight. It cannot go here because of the pawn. And it cannot go to these squares. So only square for the queen will be this one. Okay? And he realized it and he played it before I attack. Well, I did attack it. I'm gonna make sure the queen doesn't leave that square. Now look at this position. Now he plays knight up. Yep. Getting your knight to an active square. And at this position, I played queen to s6. Just taking the pawn. Now, many of you guys will be thinking like, why didn't you go here and like, get the fork on the king and the rook and just win the rook? Well, I saw this opportunity as well. The thing is, if I go there, okay, let's see, if I go here, the king is in check. The king moves. Now I take the rook. The king takes. And look at this. This knight was an important attacker. This knight was an important attacker to the king. It was controlling these important squares. And now, I do win a rook like this. But this knight is gone. And the king can go here, here, and maybe here. And it can be in safe position. And it's not a checkmate. Okay? So I thought in this position that no, I'm going to take this pawn. I took it here. And I'm going to create this threat, okay? Two attackers of this square. He has two defenders, so in the future, if I increase an attacker, I can threaten checkmate. So opponent plays bishop back. Okay, he thought like, let's just activate this bishop, okay? Get it on this diagonal. I played knight to g4, okay? So there are two reasons behind this. One is to get the knight into the attack. Okay, now it's controlling these important squares. And the other one is that after this, I'm going to push this pawn up and then once more. And when he takes it and I take back, I maul the rook into the game and I can threaten checkmate. Okay. So opponent plays pawn to f4. Okay. So I thought for some moment and then I realized, okay, let's just take the free pawn. I en passant. Okay, en passant is a special move in which your opponent's pawn plays its first two squares. Okay, it's his first move. He's moving forward and he plays two square and he lands side by side your pawn, and you can just en passant it. You can move there and take the pawn. Okay, I en passant it. Okay, now at this moment I'm threatening checkmate. Okay, if I go ahead, the king is in check, where will it go? It cannot go here or here because of the queen. It's checkmate. So the best move here, stock-free sets, is to take with the bishop. My opponent played rook to f1, which is a bad move, which is a mistake actually. Now, checkmate is just an unavoidable. I bring my bishop into the attack. Okay, finally, this bishop has been there from move 9. And after like 14 moves, I bring this bishop, attacks, opponent takes back with the pawn. I play queen to g3. And yeah, my opponent resigns. Okay, because only move is this. It's checkmate. Okay, so this is the position in which I won the game. So these were 7 principles. Now comes the 8th principle, and I think it's the most important one. Okay, let me go back to this position which I showed you in the beginning of the video. Now at this position, white has many disadvantages and black has many advantages. Which one of them is most important to black? Well, it's space. Okay, principle number 8 says you have to gain space. At this position, black has a lot of space. He can move his knight back and forth. He can move his bishop. He can even bring his rooks all across the back rank, move the pawn up, this pawn up. But white, on the other hand, has no space, as I showed you. Bishop, no. Rook, no. Rook, this rook, no. This bishop is only move. And look at that queen. This queen may be the worst queen that can possibly be, because it's just doing nothing, okay? So you have to gain space. So space is a separate topic of its own. How to gain it, if you want to know about it, just comment down below. I'll make a separate video about that. So this was the game. I wanted to show you these 7 principles I followed that led me to a win. Okay, and I was very proud of me. Okay, I'm not boasting, but still, I was very proud of me after playing this game. That's it for the day.